The saddest summary of a life contains 3 descriptions: could have, might have, and should have, by Louis E. Boone. Hi, my name is Amanda Swanepoel, and I am the co-CEO of Bright Star Lifestyle. What do we do at Bright Star? We create environments for people to transform so that they can thrive. How do we behave? We behave with compassion, continual growth, excellence, integrity, and fun. Our vision for Bright Star is that at the end of 2021, 10,000 people will embrace the Bright Star lifestyle. Thank you for being part of this dream. You are the hero of your life story. And I want to commend you for taking the time to think about the word attitude. I hope you have a positive attitude, because that will definitely determine what you will take from this conversation. I always experience it as helpful to start with the dictionary definition of a topic of discussion. If we look at the Oxford Dictionary, what it says about attitude is that attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. The word attitude comes from the Italian word for posture. That indicates how you carry yourself, something you hold in your whole being, your entire approach to the world. An attitude is a way of thinking that you can express just by standing in a certain way. All the Bright Star programs and workshops start with a conversation regarding our thoughts, because we believe that our thoughts influence every aspect of our lives. Zig Ziglar said you need to evaluate your thought patterns and eliminate any possible stinking thinking. You can stop this recording now and have a conversation with yourself or your team. On a scale of 1 to 5, evaluate your team's attitude and then your own attitude. 1 being very negative and 5 having a very positive attitude. I suggest we all choose to work towards having a positive attitude. It's such a small word that makes such a big difference. Companies benefit from the effect of a person that's bringing a positive attitude to the team, and they employ people with a positive attitude because they know what a big difference it makes. I want to introduce to you 4 types of attitude. The first would be a positive attitude. The second, a negative attitude. The third, a neutral attitude. And the fourth, a destructive attitude. Some people might be hesitant to choose a positive attitude, saying that it can be irritating if someone is too positive, especially in tough times. Ali Wiesel said, "The opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness, it's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy, it's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death, it's indifference." To have a positive attitude means 3 things. You choose to focus on the positive, you will be more resilient, and all areas of your life will be influenced by the choice. First one, if you choose to focus on the positive, it's adapting a positive attitude to direct your attention towards the good rather than the bad. In psychology, this is called cognitive reframing. And though it appears simple, it has a profound effect on your thoughts and your behaviors. Over time, as you make the effort to focus on the positive, you will slowly rewire your brain, and so it will become increasingly easier to be positive. To have a positive attitude will help you to be more resilient. Neil Gaiman said, "Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten." To be resilient means you will be able to bounce back. A positive attitude allows you to be more resilient in the face of life's day-to-day challenges. Every time you come up against the obstacle, your positive attitude will serve the purpose of guiding you away from worry or negative thinking to conquer and not be destroyed. My mother is a great example of someone with a positive attitude. Frequently, she will say, when the going gets tough, I go on holiday in my head. Then when my dad would talk to her, she won't answer because she's on holiday. I suggest if you follow her example that you might inform the people around you that you are going on holiday in your head. When you've practiced focusing on a positive attitude for a long time, you will experience that you won't be overwhelmed by every challenge and situation you come across. Practice your attitude today to be prepared or resilient for bigger challenges to come. We don't want to stay in grade 1 with all the tests we are writing. We want to pass and get our degree in the end in understanding what a thriving, excellent life is all about. In all areas of your life, you will experience the influence of a positive attitude. Sometimes we experience that we are positive at work, but not so positive at home, or vice versa. When we don't have a balance, it creates negative stress. There's a lot of dimension in our lives, and at Brightstar program we simplified it into only 5 areas. And I'm going to use that for our discussion now. The first one is personal, the second one is relational, the third one is your work area dimension, then we have your environment, that actually means the surroundings or conditions in which you live and operate, and then the fifth one is spiritually. Stop the video now and think or discuss in what area of your life are you struggling the most to have a positive attitude. Let us have a discussion about the 5 areas in our lives and our attitude towards it. If we look at our personal life area, what is your attitude towards yourself? Did you know that if you are not true to yourself, you are actually breaking your own heart? How do you talk to yourself? You cannot have a healthy attitude towards yourself and your capabilities if you hear negative messages about yourself in your head all the time. Marilyn Monroe, her attitude was so positive towards herself in this quote that I would like to share with you. She said, "Imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring." What is your attitude towards yourself? Maybe you feel paralyzed by a thought pattern that you are showing all your life. Choose to quiet your inner critic. Start to accumulate experiences that let you really know what you are capable of. Enjoy the journey to discover and celebrate your positive, authentic self. Arthur Gordon said, "Whenever I had fallen short in almost any undertaking, It was seldom because I tried and failed. It was most of the time because I had let the fear of failure stop me from trying at all. Stop this video now and discuss or think, what is my attitude towards myself? Positive, negative, neutral, or maybe even destructive. The second life area that we are going to discuss is our relationships. Sometimes we feel surprised about how people react to our words and our actions. If that happens a lot, we need to investigate a little bit. If your attitude is negative, it will reflect in the attitudes of the people around you. Have you experienced that if someone in your team uses strong language, how easy it is for the whole team to start using stronger language? It is contagious. Is your attitude worth catching? Just to put your attitude to an extreme test, I will throw in the word here. Your attitude is contagious. It's like a virus. In these days, we experience the negative effects of a virus on all of our lives. Just as an unhealthy attitude can be caught, your healthy attitude can affect the whole team. It's amazing to be part of a positive team. In marriage, relationships with your kids, your children, family, even with your in-laws. Lucille Clifton said, what they call you is one thing. What you answer to is something else. Stop the video and discuss or think, is my attitude worth catching? The third life area that we are going to discuss is our work life. We live in a VUCA world. VUCA meaning volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous. The detail of what a VUCA world entails is a discussion for another day. One of our products, Bright Star Life Program, we talk about the VUCA effect. But you understand when I say we live in a very interesting world. VUCA saying there's challenges that we need to face. Eleanor Roosevelt said, the purpose of life after all is to live it, to taste and experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for a newer and richer experience. To help us think about our attitude at work, I pondered on an example. Have you also experienced that your attitude will have an influence on what you wear to work, for instance? And then for the rest of the day, what you chose to wear for the day will have an influence on your attitude while going through the day. That's the same thing in your relationships at work and in your work environment. Your attitude towards your work will have an effect on how you experience your day. And that attitude will have an influence on you experiencing your work as positive. What is your attitude? We can have a victim mentality of poor me, and I've got so much work to do and I get the most work to do and I'm not enjoying my job. We can also have an attitude that we actually feel everyone around us is spiteful, and then that is how we'll experience it, and it will feel as if it's the truth. We can also have an attitude that people are kind of acting dumb around you, and then you're going to miss out in what your workspace and your colleagues can mean to you and bring to the table. Everything starts with your attitude, not their reaction. Let's have a bit of a discussion. Stop the video and think for a moment. Is my attitude towards my work helping or harming me? Is it helping or harming my team? Is it helping or harming my clients? The fourth life area that will definitely be influenced by your attitude is your environment. Oprah Winfrey said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude." We can go as far as to say that you can change the present and the future environment with your attitude today. The potential effect of a tin paint in your house or for your office is endless. A flower on your desk in the office, or maybe a motivational poster on your door, can make a huge difference. The dream of living in beautiful communities with clean water to drink, clean streets to walk in, clean playgrounds to play in, starts with picking up one piece of trash. Discuss with your team now and think about ways, something small that you can do to start making a big difference in your environment. The fifth life area that we would like to chat about, that your attitude will have an influence on, is your spiritual life area. Ravi Zacharias told the story about a man who was sitting under a tree laden with nuts. He was questioning God's logic by comparing how nuts and watermelons grow. Why would small nuts grow on a big tree and watermelons grow on a small plant? It does not make any sense. At that moment, one of the nuts fell on his head and he called out, "Thank God that was not a watermelon." We are spiritual beings, and what we believe will have an immense influence on our attitude and therefore on our whole lives. Life will constantly send us challenges to test our positivity, and to have faith is to be able to look towards the future with optimism, in spite of the difficulties. Our biggest disappointments in life sometimes follows unrealistic expectations. A lesson that I learned long ago was to stop asking questions and to start living into the answers. Attitude and faith go hand in hand. In Isaiah 40 verse 31 we read, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." A positive attitude is not forcing a smile through gritted teeth in the hopes of feeling better. It is something a lot more profound than that. When we adopt a positive attitude, we dismiss thoughts and ideas that are no longer serving us. In Philippians 2 verse 14 we read, "Do everything without grumbling or arguing." How's that for attitude? "So that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky." I conclude this motivation on living with a positive attitude with a quote by Albert Camus. "In the depth of winter, I finally learned that there was in me an invincible summer."